It's quite amazing to see that in today's world, a company like CD Projekt Red is very interested in building a 100-year gaming empire. And they're interested in doing it by serving and respecting their community. And so the reason I'm making this video is just to eventually show that regardless of how anyone may want to approach business, at the core of gaming and at the core of shipping games is a community that's built on trust. So right now, BioWare seemingly working on Dragon Age 4, but they have not taken care of their house, which is a mess right now in the Anthem side, and yet they want to ship Dragon Age 4. Yet companies like Ubisoft, whenever a game is released, if there are issues, they go back and they spend time developing their community's trust and spending time serving their community. And so it's almost a sure sale whenever they release a new game. Now, a company like CD Projekt Red is very interested in doing this and will always continue to do this. And so they have, in a sense, their community manager has made a statement on Twitter saying that they want to make their game Cyberpunk 2077 available on as many platforms as possible. And so this is a good and refreshing statement, especially since we've seen Epic Games throw around their weight and try to get exclusives in order to give their store some light, make some sales here and there. But that's not the way to build a 100-year gaming empire or a gaming platform empire or whatever. You have to serve the people that are your customers in order for you to be able to do well. Now, I do understand Epic's side of the story. They seem to want to serve the developers, and so they have this pro-developer mindset. Whether it's genuine or not, that's left up to discussion. But that so-called pro-developer mindset is actually hurtful to developers because companies sell games in a very different way. And I've said this a lot, and that's the way that many of these gaming developers actually are capable of doing business. So they usually will do business based on their past reputation and are able to make a very solid sale to a community of gamers that they already have a relationship with. So if they already have a relationship with a community of developers, then it's easier for them to get their game off the ground because, first of all, you have a customer base and you have word of mouth. Word of mouth is still the most impressive and one of the best ways for marketing to happen. If I tell a friend and say, hey, this game is solid, it's easier for them to buy that game because I have told them that the game is solid. If it's in their style of play, if they actually enjoy the genre, then more likely they're going to make that purchase and want to play that game because I'm playing the game as well. And that's usually how it works. But with a thing like exclusivity, that alienates the community. And even when people asked, for Cyberpunk 2077, it seemed like CD Projekt Red, turned that aside. Now, yes, there are the technical and obvious aspects that CD Projekt Red already also has its own game store, so it will make no sense to actually sell their IP as an exclusive for a year to some other person. And I know that Epic Games has probably thought about, taking Cyberpunk 2077 as a 1-year exclusive. I mean, who wouldn't want to get their hands on that? But it doesn't seem like CD Projekt Red is interested in that. Why? They understand how to do right. Now, let me quickly put a situation out here. The author of the Witcher books, which is CD Projekt Red's, or CD Projekt Red, how you say it in Polish, they actually had a little issue with the author of the Witcher series. A few months ago, the author came back and said he wanted to sue them for more money because it was actually a big hit. The Witcher actually became a big, massive success, even though when they asked them, hey, we'll give you royalties, they provided him a royalty package or a buyout package. He picked out the buyout package and then came back and wanted to sue. Now, CD Projekt Red could have said, "Forget you. No, you're. In fact, the author of the Metro books called the author of the Witcher series some name. He actually he gave him like a tongue lashing and told him that he was a fool or something like that for wanting to come back and collect money, which is ironic. But CD Projekt Red went ahead and did the right thing, which they were not legally obligated to do, but human to human, they still ended up settling with this Witcher book author, even though that was like, they didn't have to do that. Legally, they were not, I don't think they were obligated to do that. I think if they had gone to court, they would have won the case. I think so, with good lawyers. But because they understand that it's all right to do the right thing, to just that good old shake my hand and let us just come together and make something big type mentality, they became the bigger person in that matter and did what was not required of them, but just did the right thing. And this company has that core, and I hope that they never lose that to greed that can be seen from a lot of these gaming companies who, over the years, their communities whom they served when they were really hungry and obscure and had no money, they eventually turned around and threw those communities aside because they started to make a whole lot of money. And so why Epic Games is not going to be able to touch CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077 is because that game is built on trust. That game is going to be sold based on simply trust. There are no questions. In fact, people are even saying on the Twitter feed, and this is a Twitter feed from some time early this year, where the developer, was just having a discussion with people in the community. And you can see people saying, even though we like Steam, we're going to buy this game on the good old games, platform. Isn't that amazing? I mean, isn't that just amazing? And so when people say things like Steam needs competition, we agree that it does, but it needs competition from someone who's willing to serve the gaming community. And it seems like Epic Games is willing to serve the gaming community. And so Epic's roadmap may seem like, they're taking over the gaming industry, the PC. They want to take over the PC gaming industry. But I don't think that they have enough moves. I don't think they have enough cards to play, because there are a lot of other publishers that are serious about doing business as well, who will be happy to reach gamers wherever gamers want to be reached and not worry about an exclusive deal. They can't pay. A company like Warner Brothers does not need Epic Games money. A company like Capcom does not need Epic Games' money. A company like Square Enix, they might go for an exclusive deal. They've done it before with Tomb Raider. But you also have a lot of big names out there when it comes to game development who aren't hungry and who understand that communities are actually a very serious thing. Now, Ubisoft is one of my favorite publishers, and so their move to go away from the Steam store, I think, was for them to try to get as much of an exclusivity on their part with their Uplay store. And so I don't think they needed that move. They could have just said the only place to play it is going to be on Uplay, because they've already found a way to integrate almost all their games on Uplay. I mean, I have a huge Uplay library of a bunch of free games that they gave out. I don't know if you guys remember when Ubisoft had its 30-year anniversary and they were giving out a game almost every month. And once in a while, they'll do a bunch of cool stuff like that. But I'm really happy to see that in our community of, game developers and game publishers, there's a company who's influencing a lot of other things, who wants gamers to be happy, who wants to serve gamers. And I think because of that, we're seeing a lot of good product come out. I think because of a game like Cyberpunk 2077, I genuinely think Cyberpunk 2077 is because of the existence of that game. We're seeing a game like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order actually being made and being, geared up to be published at the end of the 2019 cycle. I genuinely think that game has caused so much of a stir in the community that other companies want to get a share of all that holiday money, and they want to do it the way that gamers want it done. Gamers want to spend their money on specific things in specific ways. And I think these development companies, if they have not learned by now, are going to learn that that's built on trust. And finally, before I wrap up this video, I have to quickly commend Ubisoft for their dedication as well. I think they have a model of doing live service games. They want to do live service games, but I think they want to be the number one company who does live service games the right way, which is the way that the community, feels valued and feels served. And so I remember with the release of Ghost Recon Wildlands, I bought it, I think, day 1 or day 2. I wanted to cover it on my channel, but the game kind of felt like it was lacking. I didn't have a good PC to be able to run it and enjoy it. And I was playing the Division then. I didn't have enough experience on YouTube. And so I didn't really know how to field, 2 different games and how to provide content for them. But I do remember that Ubisoft still stuck with the game. They never abandoned the game. Their development team never left the game. They fixed a lot of issues, and then they added a PvP mode based on community feedback and added a lot of content over the cycle of the game, and then ensured that the community was well served in that sense. And now they feel like they have earned the right from that community to actually announce a new Ghost Recon game. And I think because of that, they're going to sell very well another Ghost Recon game based on what they've learned, which the first Ghost Recon game they made over 5 years. And I think the reason that game came out as a dumpster fire was probably they were developing the game, and, you know, platforms changed, technology changed, and a lot of things transformed. And they brought out a game that was dated, that just felt like it was old. A lot of people a lot of people literally pushed back when I said that Ghost Recon Wildlands in its initial state felt dated. And I felt like it was. It felt a little clunky, and the textures did not seem like they were suited for modern capabilities. And now the game is very polished. If you log into the game and play the game, it's a solid experience. Everything works so seamlessly, but that took a lot of work. I don't know if it took a loss, but it would have been something of a story if they had left the game in the state that it was when it was released. And so gaming and gaming sales is built on trust. And if no one understands that, then not to worry. Their company is probably going to have to understand that, or it will not be able to sell a single thing. It will not be able to sell a free game if it was offering free games to the community. You can ask EA about that. A lot of people are like, EA is giving out a free game, I don't care. So they're starting to understand that cycle, and so they'll eventually get it, or they probably won't. And if they don't, then they can continue to slowly decline and find themselves, going down to, 10th place, or going down into oblivion where nobody remembers who they are. So that's all I have to say for today regarding this whole Epic Games fiasco. Just know that Epic Games cannot touch Cyberpunk 2077. Its developers have worked too hard. They've been sponsored by their government, and they understand what a good PR look is all about. So that's all I have for today. Thank you guys very much for your time and your audience. If you enjoyed the video, please don't hesitate to click subscribe for more content